We don't have to start immediately on search. We're live.
We're live. I don't believe that. Oh wow, we are live.
It's okay. Really?
Or you're just
on Facebook. On Facebook, so everyone can get notifications.
still no viewers.
Oh, 3.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, what, really? Oh, I mean, Cole's walking in too, so.
Okay, fine, 2.
And Abby's walking in too, so 1.
Wait, fine.
It's all right. All right, welcome to the Horizons webinar info session for Hong Kong. We're some Horizons students here to answer your questions. We have a whole list that we've compiled from past webinars that we're going to go through, but if you have any questions at any point in time, feel free to add them to the comments section. We'll be monitoring that and we will get to you as soon as we can. If we start out with a few introductions. Who you are, where you're from, what school you're at, what do you study?
I'm Samantha. I am from Hong Kong and I go to Brandeis University.
I'm Tom. I'm from New York, and I study at the University of Pennsylvania.
I'm Cole. I'm from Middlebury, and yeah, that's also my school. And I study math. Yeah, I am from Maine, but that's okay.
Okay. My name is Jing Han. I go to BU Boston University, and I am from Malaysia.
All right. So, kind of to get started, how about we just have, let's see, kind of why Horizons of all the boot camps out there, of all the things to do this summer? Why did you guys choose Horizons?
I chose Horizons mainly because my school sent out an email about Horizons, and that's the only boot camp I really knew about. But I also really liked that Horizon was catered for college students, and it wasn't like just random like 30-year-olds. Yeah. So it's like I feel like because of that, it will feel more like a community, and yeah.
I chose Horizons because I didn't mention earlier, but I'm a mechanical engineer, and nowadays startups and entrepreneurship is very heavily software focused. So for me, wanting to go into tech and entrepreneurship, I felt like it was necessary for me to know how to code and get involved in the entrepreneurship community early on. And Horizons was an easy way for me to get into that, to tap into that network.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of repeating what Sam said. I think what sets Horizons, apart from other boot camps is that you're not coding. There's 30-year-olds who are trying to change their careers. Like you're working with people around your age group. So I think that's really cool. And the second thing is, I've always been interested in building like web apps or like just doing cool stuff. But like after going to college, I realized that I didn't really have a lot of time to like learn new languages or just spend the time creating products. So I thought that it would be a great way for me to spend my summer working with awesome people and just building awesome products.
Cool. Don't feel like we have to do this kind of row all the time. If you feel like you really have something to say, just attack the question. Another question that we get asked a lot is, to what extent is this more valuable than pursuing a CS degree or going through a CS program at a university, that more kind of traditional route? Why pay the extra money to do Horizons when there are CS programs at your school? What's the difference there?
So from my perspective, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a mechanical engineer, and most of my work is focused on physical objects, physical products. And so I don't necessarily individually want to be building software or developing software. So Horizons made sense instead of computer science classes in that it was 12 weeks, really compact and compressed material all in one. So I could learn what was necessary for me to understand the software behind the scenes without actually having to spend an exorbitant amount of time learning different CS aspects.
Yeah, I think what's different, I think the difference between Horizons and getting a CS degree is that getting a CS degree is kind of like learning how to cook by like reading from books without actually cooking. You learn a lot of theoretical stuff. You understand like how a computer system works from like down to from up to bottom, but you don't really get the chance to work on stuff or even build your own applications. Yeah, sometimes you get to do some homework assignments. They're kind of related to building stuff, but like you don't really get a lot of time to work on projects that you're interested in, or even like just really implementing what you've learned. And Horizon's different in the sense that like for the first couple of weeks, obviously you'll be learning a lot of like stuff related to like programming, syntax, languages, frameworks. But after that, you're pretty much free to work on your own projects and actually get your hands dirty, implementing whatever you've learned.
Awesome. So kind of related to that, continuing through with the opportunity to build. Could you guys shed more light on what that opportunity is, how we are building things here, both during the first half of the program and how that changes in the second half of the program?
During the first half of the program, you do more like exercises. So like every day you have like 3 exercises, and it is fun. But at one point it is like a little repetitive. But then in the second half of the program, it's like you can do anything, pretty much anything you want. As in like you can, if you have an idea, you can do like just do that idea with like a team of people. So yeah, right now, me and my group, we're doing this bot called Q. It's on Slack, and it's like a file management and messaging and meeting scheduler, and that's like really fun because we haven't really done anything with bots or learned anything about bots, but like we can still learn stuff in the second half, but while doing what we want.
Yeah, kind of going off what Sam said. In the first few weeks, obviously you'll be working on a lot of projects that are, well, not projects, but like just assignments that can be kind of repetitive or boring because I think it's very important to nail the starting steps, the starting knowledge down. It's just kind of like learning, to do like multiplication tables or like doing like 1 + 1 = 2. Like it's kind of boring, but it kind of builds on like what you're gonna do in the future. And if if you can't even get that, if it's kind of like trying to get your muscle memory. Like if you can't even get that, like it's really hard. It's really hard to really implement or just like do whatever like you've learned in real life.
Yeah. So once you have that muscle memory, I think a lot of students hear that we do these client projects or hear that we do kind of independent projects in the second half. You mentioned QAI, but what are you guys working on?
Yeah, sure. So I am working with Cole right here on a client project called Clinky. So imagine Foursquare / Yelp for nightlife. It's a very complex app for like people like us, I guess. Like like we had to pretty much build everything from scratch, from working on the design to like building the app, making sure you have a web server that will give you the necessary data whenever you need it. What about Tom?
So in the past 2 weeks, two colleagues and I developed a sort of an iPhone app that allowed you to record your phone conversations, and it transcribed that data so that it could automatically set calendar reminders based on what you talked about in that conversation. Applications for that that we saw were, for example, conference meetings, conference calls, when you're in a business meeting and you're talking to multiple people and you bring up like, oh yeah, let's talk about this next Tuesday. The app would automatically transcribe that and then ask you whether or not you wanted to set a calendar event or set a reminder for that date.
So I think, kind of touching on that, a lot of the projects that we end up doing in the second half are fueled by the things we learned in the first half, which is the real bones of JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and also React and React Native. But really, we're able to build upon that, and once we get that scaffolding, the difference between the first half and the second half is that we're harnessing that scaffolding to learn new technologies that aren't directly part of the course, like reading and transcribing phone calls is not something that we learn directly, but through the knowledge gained in the first half, we're able to understand some of that technology. Through that, we're able to understand Wit AI, which is this bot that Sam has used to do natural language parsing, or to make skins and try and build our own wrappers for React Native. Yeah. So, kind of somewhat tangentially related to coding skills and the development of them, we also get asked a fair bit how much you need to know before going into Horizons and how much prep work or how much preparation you need to do before going to Horizons in order to not be completely lost.
I knew nothing coming in. I did not even go to any class. But I wasn't it's not like a skip class. It's just I wasn't in computer science. I knew nothing. I honestly don't know why I signed up but now looking back, I'm glad that I signed up. But because it was hard in the beginning, but you just know that you're not alone. There's at least 10 other people who are on the same level as who were on the same level as I was. And because they require you to do prep work, and prep work is really important. I just want to tell you, prep work, you have to do prep work. So prep work is really important, even though it's tedious and it's annoying because you're technically doing it by yourself. But just know that they if you Slack them, they will answer you. But it's really, really important. And it also helps you a lot. At least in the first week, during the first week of the course.
Yeah, so I was in the same boat as Sam. I had pretty much no software or computer science skills beforehand. But the way that the prep work was structured, it kind of introduced me to the syntax of JavaScript and how the code worked. And so the exercises that they gave us before coming to the course, it was kind of there was a decent amount, but it threw me in, and that's really what helped me get started. So,
yeah, for me, I guess I was kind of in a different boat because I'm a finance and computer science major, and I've taken Java classes, so the syntax is kind of similar to JavaScript. But at the same time, I didn't really do any serious programming for about a year because of the finance classes I was taking. So I think prep work was significantly easier for me because I've done a lot of programming classes. I've taken 6 CS classes before this, and I've built some of my own website. So that was kind of easy for me. But it was just a great refresher course. So I think the answer really boils down to if you're some CS experience or if you have not any, have not taken any CS classes, really depends. If you have not taken any CS classes, prep work is really important in terms of getting you up to speed. But if you have experience already, that would be even better.
But what about what type of students should look at Horizons as an opportunity?
Like anyone, basically. Because I wasn't really into computer science, but like this, I feel like this course really made me change my view of computer science and like coding and like engineering in general.
Yeah, I'd also like to point out that while it is kind of revolving around software, the people that you meet, not all of us are into or planning on going into software development. So a lot of us are sort of business majors or people who have that entrepreneurial mindset. So even though we're all hacking away on our computers, we're actually at the end of the day, we're kind of some of us are focused more on the business aspect.
Yeah, so for me, I think that, kind of going back to the cooking theme, coding is just kind of like cooking. You don't have to want to become a celebrity chef, but it's always a nice skill to have. It's definitely going to help you out in many situations, especially in this technology age. It kind of gives you an extra edge over people who don't know coding. You don't have to be like, you don't have to want to become a software developer or like, start a startup to come to this boot camp. And pretty much, if you're very into like, if your goal is to start the next Facebook or, if you want to become a software engineer at a startup, this boot camp's definitely great for you. But like, if that's not your goal, it definitely can hurt to learn an extra skill. So yeah, that's just kind of like one.
All right, we got our first question from Richard Burrows. UPenn guy, Tom, talks about tech entrepreneurship, and he's interested in the same as applies to APAC, especially in China and Hong Kong. How would Horizons prep him for some entrepreneurial endeavors?
So I think primarily it's the mentor network and the people that you meet in the program. A lot of the people that are in this group of Horizonites they have their own startups. They have their own sort of general idea of what kind of businesses they want to start and how they're going to go about doing that. And on top of that, the speaker series that Horizons offers gives access to a lot of people who are, whether it's people who have already built their own startups or venture capitalists or people who have, recently we had someone who developed an artificial intelligence system for setting up calendar events. So it's access to those people and the mentors that really allows me, I think, past the program to get into the world of tech and entrepreneurship.
Awesome. Yeah. So what type of contacts and just a little bit more information trying to speak. Can't even claim yes or no. So how does the speaker series work? And is it easy to make contact with the speaker after?
So every week we have 2 to 3 speakers come in to talk about their personal experiences, what has worked for them, and sort of their, I guess, philosophy in terms of the work that they do and why they enjoy doing it. And then, so it's maybe like an hour to 2 hour on average talk with them, hearing their thoughts, asking them questions. Past the talk, we're given access to their contacts, so it's really up to us individually to reach out to them. I've reached out to several of those speakers, and they are very responsive. They tend to get back to me within a day or two. So it's pretty much whatever I want to ask them. If I want to ask them for their opinion on the latest tech news, or if I want to learn more about venture and how that industry works. It's pretty much very open-ended, and up to me to decide like how do I want to sort of leverage that connection, that new connection that I have.
Yeah, so I guess we can kind of go back to the education bit of Horizons and talk a little bit about one of the other really common questions that we get is how much of what you learn at Horizons could you learn on your own, or is available online in courses like Codecademy or Udemy or one of those kind of online coding courses. How much of this do you think you could have accomplished without Horizons?
I feel like all the material that we learn here, we can get online. But personally, I definitely would not be able to learn it all. Only because, not because I don't like computer science, but I just don't have the motivation for it. But I now really like it. But it's just because it's also the community that's here that encourages you, which then they encourage you to learn as much as you can, and even though it's very intensive, it's still really fun. Which that feeling you can't really get learning by yourself.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, sorry. Please.
Okay, so I'd like to stress the community part. So I have a really weird view on education. I think that whatever we learn at university, we can actually learn on our own, sitting in a library. Most of this information is already out there, whether on the internet or in a bookstore. But what's really important is the community and the network that we're given, right? So the Horizons community, which Sam mentioned, is very supportive, and it's something that creates this atmosphere around the program, which you won't get in any bookstore or any library.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Sam and Tom. I think that all the materials, maybe not word by word, but you can definitely find a lot of these stuff online. Your courses on Coursera, Khan Academy, and all that stuff. But I don't think that it's the materials that set Horizons apart, but it's more about the environment. So kind of going off that, the USA Olympia team just won the gold in the world competition, and one way that they prepared the participants for the competition was to bring in the best competitors and participants from everywhere in the world, and that kind of gave the Americans participants more motivation, and that gave them the drive to actually work harder. And I think that same concept kind of applies to Horizons. Anyone could just go online, search up for materials on web development, but you kind of lack the motivation and the drive to actually work on it yourself. But when you're put in a room where there are a lot of willing learners all surrounding you, I think that gives you an extra edge, and you just have that burning desire to learn more and actually get to work.
Something I would say on that topic is that Horizons kind of gives you the cheat codes to what would be the first 2 years of computer science and kind of learning how things work, because if you try to do this on your own, it's possible, but it's just going to take longer because you won't have a 10-person network of TAs that are readily at your disposal effectively 24 hours a day for 3 months, because they secretly don't sleep. And really, we go through topics so quickly that you either learn them or you end up spending all of your time figuring out how they work. So it's not really like when you're at home where you maybe do this for 3 hours a day, get stuck on something, go get lunch, come back, maybe work for another 2 hours, and then call it quits for the day. We're here, most of us are here from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and later. So the sheer amount of things that we do each day is it's a lot, and it's not really something that I would see myself doing on my own if I just huddled up with a blanket around me in a little shroud in front of a computer. I don't think that would really work.
Yeah, I kind of forget a little bit about that, but like, so like if you're trying to program at home, like, you know, more often than not, you're definitely gonna run into like a couple problems, and you probably go on Google, go on Stack Overflow, go on some forums asking for help. You know, if you're lucky, like someone might have posted a question already, and you might have an answer. But if not, like you're probably gonna post a question, and you know, hopefully someone will reply to your question in like 24 hours or maybe up to a week, and you're just kind of stuck there because you can't really progress any further. But like if you're here, like all you have to do is like raise your hand, you know, or message a TA or an instructor, and they'll come over. They'll be able to help you because they probably have, you know, faced that problem before, or because, you know, they have so much experience developing in that language. They probably know what you're talking about, the problem that you're facing, and you know, like just like that, your problem is solved, and you can go ahead with doing whatever you're doing.
Really kind of the next step from there. How do the Horizon staff and the TAs navigate kind of the first 6 weeks and after with kids at really different skill levels?
So the second day I was here, like I didn't really expect this, but like the second day I was here, we were learning underscore, and I was so confused about every single thing.
Wait, explain underscore.
No, that's not.
Underscore is a library
Context.
of functions that work in really nifty ways that you can use.
Yeah, that. Okay, so me and my partner, we were on this. No, me and my other partner, we were like working on it, and so basically we stayed until like 3 a.m. and at that point we didn't really expect anyone to stay. We thought like we would just like Google everything and like figure it out. But like two of our instructors, like two of the co-founders basically, like they stayed until 3, or like they stayed until whenever we wanted to leave basically. And during the time we asked them like underscore questions and like random questions. So they were really dedicated to teaching us, and it was really nice to know that like just the second day in and how invested they are in us. Yeah.
Cool. Right. Yeah. So what about the timing of your Horizons experience in your kind of educational trajectory? So how does the timing play into where you are in school and what your plans are for the future?
Honestly, like before I even considered about this, like knew about this bootcamp, I was like considering computer science like for the next semester, and like the timing of knowing about this bootcamp was like really perfect, because like then I can like learn about coding before I started the class, which is really nice.
So I'm a rising senior, and Horizons doesn't, or traditionally they didn't really market to upperclassmen. They said like, oh yeah, like we accept our upperclassmen as well. But I think the way that Horizons has changed has fit into my sort of timeline is like it's created, it's kind of put me on a different path than what I had been expecting. So as a mechanical engineer, I was sort of looking to go into industry, work for one of the large manufacturing companies for 2 years post-graduation. But now I'm really invested in tech, and I kind of want to ship myself off to San Francisco or Silicon Valley, and get my hands dirty with that. So.
All right, we've got a question from Abigail Arterburn, who asks, what's the most valuable takeaway from the course? A lot of us are university students. Why do we choose to take this course and not take other courses at our university with professors there? Why did you choose Horizons over others like General Assembly or First Round?
Yeah, I can take this. So, yeah, so why do you choose to take this course and not take classes at your university with professors there? So, this kind of goes back to my answer just now. So, like, I feel like you don't really get to work on like projects or actually apply what you've learned. Like, yeah, like there are a lot of courses, like computer science courses with professors, obviously, but like I guess they're more theoretical in nature. You don't really get to build ads or actually, work on something that you could put on your resume that you could show your employers, or even work on your own startup idea. So I guess it's really different in that way. I wouldn't say that one is better than the other, but like it's more like they complement each other. For like uni courses, you are probably learning the essential, building blocks, and for Horizons, you're actually applying your knowledge. Why did you choose this program over others like General Assembly? I don't really know much about General Assembly, but just talking about coding bootcamps in general, I guess they're mostly aimed towards like, people in their early 30s or maybe late 20s. Like a lot of them might want to change their career path, thinking about getting tech, and most coding bootcamps are aimed towards people like them. It's very hard to find a coding bootcamp that's like, targeted towards like people, in our age gap. So I think this is definitely what sets Horizons apart. I don't know about like Sam or Tom.
Yeah, we're all here as university students. Some just graduated, some still in the process, and that's really what makes Horizons different from most, if not all, other coding bootcamps or major coding bootcamps that are out there. In that this is for college students who are still, at this point in our educational career where we have the power to decide whether kind of what initial trajectory we want. And kind of on that creates a really tight community because we're all going through a very similar thing. We're all in school, and so this feels like more school in a very kind of similar and comforting way. The other great thing about it is that Horizons, unlike a lot of other coding boot camps, at the whole second half of the course is entirely building projects for actual clients. So Horizons finds a whole host of companies or startups that need things built, and then we build them for them and give them back. So we get some real experience to put on paper for us, and they get their actual web app built rather than just learning, this is JavaScript, this is HTML, this is CSS, this is React, this is how you use them, and then being set free to go actually build things. Here, it's made sure that you're able to build things before they let you go. Feeling good? Yeah. All right. So what's next? Next steps after Horizons?
School.
More school?
Yeah, more school, more computer science.
Yeah. So I have another year left in university, and I might stay an extra year after that for a master's. But after that, I think, as I mentioned before, I'm just gonna ship myself off to where the tech is.
Yeah, I have an extra year left too, like Tom. So I don't know what lies ahead. Probably tech. And yeah, like maybe a couple of years after that, pursue my startup ideas. I don't know. We will see.
Awesome.
Well,
thanks for tuning in, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. But if you have any other questions, feel free to email them or post them to any of our channels. We will find them and answer questions.
Bye.